Hi, and welcome to Tuesday Community Connections. This past weekend was a very busy weekend, busier than most weekends, especially these days where there are so many events that just don't happen. This past weekend was our Eastern North Dakota Synod Assembly. Now, most of the time we meet in June, most of the time we meet at the Holiday Inn in Fargo, most of the time we spend the days sitting together in a great big ballroom, listening to reports and talking with people, as well as just hearing about who we are as a synod, what we're doing, and what the whole ELCA is about, and in my mind, being amazed at the outreach that we have. This year, we couldn't do that. With the pandemic, we couldn't get together, but we had what we called a virtual synod assembly. It was really interesting. It was all online, for the most part anyway. It was online. There were people at the Holiday Inn doing some of the technical things, and there were a few people at the time that were there who needed to be there, but for the most part, people gathered via Zoom, and online we heard the reports. Some of the things were videos that normally would be in person. Some of the people were there, very few of the people were there, but still, we had a synod assembly, and it went amazingly well. Now, what you need to know about a synod assembly is that our synod, and every synod, comes together once a year to look at what we've been doing, to hear reports from what is going on, to pass the budget for the next year, and also to elect both lay and clergy to positions that we need in our synod. What that means is that every year we have a gathering of all 192 congregations of our synod. Now, every congregation gets at least 2 lay voting members. All pastors need to come, we're required to be there, and every congregation gets at least 2 voting members, and then for every 500 members you have, you get to add another voting member. And so we at Sharon have 9 voting members. And so we were, for the most part, online, watching. We could participate. We could go into the chat room and ask questions or raise a hand and ask a question. A few people got to speak a bit, just because we couldn't have everybody speaking all the time. But it worked amazingly well. So we had representation from 192 congregations, 200 lay or rostered leaders, pastors and deacons, that were part of this assembly. Representing the 101,000 plus members of our synod. Usually we begin on Friday night and we end on Sunday noon. We did most of that this time, except that we didn't meet on Saturday evening, and we finished before noon on Sunday. I want to talk just a minute about synod. Synod is the way together. That's what that word means. And so a synod assembly is all of us, the 192 congregations, the 200 rostered leaders, the 101,000 members, figuring out our way together as we support one another and encourage one another and do the ministry that God has called us to do. It's an amazing thing. This year, as I said, we also elected a bishop. Now, some of you probably, or hopefully, most of you know I was one of the names in that process. It was humbling. And it was an honor to be thought of by some as a candidate that could fill that office and could do a good job in that office. I have to admit, I was humbled and honored to be a name that was included there, but at the same time, I struggled a lot because I've always felt my heart is in the parish. It was a process, though, that I felt I needed to listen to the call to at least consider and let my name go forward. And it was a process that helped me journey in faith and grow deeper in faith. It was an amazing process to wonder, God, where are you calling me? God, what are my talents and my gifts, and how is it that they can best be used? Where is it, God, that you would have me serve? Well, I wasn't elected, and I have to admit, there is a lot of relief in that because I'm happy and content where I am here at Sharon. The bishop we did elect is Tessa Moon-Lyseth. Tessa will do a wonderful job. Tessa is an interim pastor, actually in West Fargo. Before that, Tessa served, her and her husband and family served in South Africa, working with YAGM, Young Adults in Global Ministry. And then she also served at Concordia College as a campus pastor there, in addition to some calls before that. Tessa is well qualified. Tessa is a pastor, and I think that we will be faithfully led and well served by Tessa and her leadership in our synod. She begins her ministry with us November 1st. Actually, she will be installed as bishop October 31st. My sense right now is that that also will be an online event, but I guess we will wait and see that. I just want to talk a minute or two as well about the rest of the assembly. I mean, that was the center of who is God calling. And it was an amazing process. We went through 5 ballots. You need to have so many votes to continue in the process or to be elected, up to 5 ballots, and it took all 5 ballots. There were times where the candidates were asked questions and got to speak. And so it's not just a simple process. There really isn't campaigning about that process. It's not that you win the election the way you would win a political election. It's a call and it's a discernment. And that call and that discernment is made by the people of God who are gathered, who are delegates. And so before we vote each time, we pause and there is prayer by some person in the synod. And then we have that time to vote. And so it's taken very seriously that this isn't just who campaigned the best or who is the most popular, but it's who is God calling. And we trust in the Spirit to work. And so that is just an amazing experience to be a part of. And as I said, I was honored and humbled to be considered as a candidate among the other 7 that were there. Again, I want to go back to the rest of the Synod Assembly. There are reports of what we're doing not only in our Synod but around the world. We, as the Eastern North Dakota Synod, are reaching out in campus ministry. We're reaching out with Dakota Oyate, with our Native American brothers and sisters. We've got the South Sudan congregation in Fargo. We've got new starts in our midst. We are reaching out to those who are facing special challenges. When you hear some of these reports, you sit back and you think, my goodness, we are doing amazing things. This Eastern North Dakota Synod is an amazing synod to be a part of. And then we hear from our ELCA and the outreach that we have around the entire world. And I have to tell you, when that report was given, how we're reaching around the whole world, we got to hear from Bryce Bommersbach. He talked a bit, actually that was during the Christus Rex report, but about going to Tanzania with young adults in global mission. And he was mentioned another time as well in how you and I, as this Eastern North Dakota Synod, don't just stay right here in our geographical center of the eastern third of North Dakota, but rather what we do goes a long ways. And so I think I came away once again, as I do every year, shaking my head a bit in amazement at how far our synod reaches, of how many needs our synod touches, of how effective our synod and our church are at helping those people who are hurting or in need or don't yet know Jesus Christ to hear the word, to feel God's presence. You can go on our synod webpage at eandsynod.org and you can see some of those reports and see for yourself how far it is that we go. You need to know that we as Sharon Lutheran Church this year have committed ourselves to giving $36,000 this year to support the ministries of the ELCA and our Eastern North Dakota Synod. Now that in some ways sounds like a lot of money. At the same time, we are one of the large congregations in this synod, and we don't give really close to what we ought to support all of the ministries that are going on here in Eastern North Dakota. We are supporting them, but perhaps we can find other ways to support some of these ministries and to be more involved in being a part of reaching out around the world, showing God that we are here, letting our light shine, that candle of baptism, saying, we know God. We want you to know God, and we can make a difference. So it was interesting. It was a busy weekend. It was a good weekend. And I enjoyed it. I'm hoping that our delegates did as well. I could see their names as we gathered online, so know that they were there. And hopefully they learned a whole lot about what our synod and our national church is doing as well, and can share that with you. So know that you are a part of a wonderful synod, of a powerful church that reaches out around the world, making a difference in people's lives. That's who we are as Lutherans, and you and I at Sharon Lutheran are a part of that. So God bless you now this week. Think about the fact that you are a part of this large church with large arms that go all the way around the world. God bless you.